Welcome back to the White Label Delivery System series. Quick recap of episode 6. We discussed why QA should never be optional, how skipping QA leads to massive rework, and how structured testing reduces bugs, stress, and client escalations. Today, in episode 7, let's talk about something agencies struggle with: how to run proper weekly sprints when they don't have a full internal team. Weekly sprints sound simple on paper: plan the work, build the features, test the outcome, show the demo, collect feedback, repeat. But here's the real challenge for most Indian agencies: they don't have UI, backend, frontend, QA, documentation, and DevOps all in house. So sprint cycles break, demos get delayed, and clients start asking, "What did your team do this week?" This is exactly where offshore pod teams transform the workflow. A pod operates like your silent internal team, but instead of you managing 6 people, you get one integrated unit that handles planning, execution, QA, and delivery together. Let's break down how a weekly sprint works with a POD. Monday, sprint planning. You define goals. The POD breaks it into tasks, estimates timelines, and assigns roles. Tuesday to Thursday, development plus QA. Front end works on UI components, back end builds logic. QA starts testing early, not at the end. Friday, internal review. The POD validates the sprint output before you ever see it. Saturday, client ready demo is prepared with notes, screens, build links, and progress updates. Sunday or Monday, you present the demo under your brand name. The client sees consistency, you look organized, the POD remains invisible. Here's a real example. A Gurgaon based agency had no internal team. They onboarded a podder for a 28 lakh rupee SaaS project. Every week, a working demo went out, milestones were predictable. The client approved phase 2 even before phase 1 was completed, just because the weekly sprint reviews were solid. Another example, a Kerala agency struggled with irregular communication and missing demos. After switching to a POD, their sprint cycle shifted to clockwork: planning calls, Jira updates, QA reports, demo videos, and weekly handovers. Their client satisfaction score jumped from 6.8 to 9.3 in 3 months. This is the core benefit. You don't need a large internal team to run sprints, you need a team that works like a system. When offshore POD handle planning, QA, documentation, and demos, your agency appears stronger, more structured, and more enterprise ready, even if you have zero developers in house. In the next episode, we'll talk about how offshore teams absorb workload during demand spikes and why flexible capacity is the real competitive advantage for modern agencies.